started with Zebra about 7 years ago now, almost. And I came in as a technical marketing writer, and I was interviewed by the DevRel team, 4 engineers in our specialty printing group, SPG we called it, and a DevRel lead. And they just needed somebody to come in and kind of help them, you know, tune up their content, work with some of their editing tools and things like that, and help them really have consistent content to their community. I was really blessed by being part of that small team because we were so collaborative. And when I came in, what I thought I was going to be doing on day one quickly evolved in that 30, 60, 90-day plan that we all have to put together. And I'm truly ambitious when I put those things together. And it quickly evolved within 30 to 50 days. So Zebra as a company, it's kind of interesting because when I came in, they were merging the Zebra Legacy company with Motorola. So Zebra Legacy being our hardware. You're going into Target, right? You're making a return. We make one every week. And we have a mobile device that's scanning your barcode on your phone. Those are our scanners, right? They're printing out things, or they're looking for inventory throughout their RFD technology and their locationing services. That's our technology, Zebra. And that's what we started with. And then we merged with, I came in the year that we merged with Motorola and their enterprise mobile computing. So now we've got all these mobile computing devices, right? So forced to be reckoned with on the hardware side, some software, but our developer community really was internal and external when I walked in. We have since graduated, started at about 5,000, went to 7,000 people. Now we're close to 10,000. And we just keep going out and gobbling them up, right? So we're in that software space, and we're definitely making a mark in it, robotics, machine vision, you name it, and we're stretched thin in our DevRel team, believe me. But it's an exciting time at Zebra because we're expanding so quickly. So this just kind of gives you an overview of everything that we do in a nutshell. But it's not all-inclusive for sure. And what presentation is not complete without Baby Yoda? We love Baby Yoda, right? And we're in a theater, so I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, should we be watching Star Wars after this? I don't know. But I found Baby Yoda with a tool, and I thought it was so appropriate to me. Just a little bit about me. Thank you for the introduction. Over 25 years in marketing. We won't say how many years that I've been doing this. I've dabbled in technology and some development and databases and things of that nature. So it's something that I've been doing throughout my entire career, but I've always been on the marketing end because I'm a creator, I'm a builder, and a strategist. And I love to go in and fix things. So I thought it was only appropriate that I had the tool. Plus, my partner in crime in my household works for one of the top global tool companies in the world, and we have these beautiful toolboxes and beautiful tools, and guess who fixes everything inside the house too? I do. We've raised 3 great kids so far, now adults, and it's interesting family conversations that absolutely apply to my career and what I'm doing today. I have a developer, a nurse, and an actor who's actually working on web development. She needs to have something on the side. And you can imagine our family conversations are interesting. But today I really wanted you to walk away with a couple of different things. Now, Zebra as a community, Zebra Technologies and our developer community may not align strategically or necessarily to all of your communities. But there are some necessary tools when you're talking to the developers, whether they be enterprise developers, independent developers, or whatever those developer personas are. You need to have certain pieces in your toolbox. It just might be different for each one of your companies, right? So I want you to walk away with an idea of the tools that we had when I walked in, and then what they are today. We had to define personas. Yes, in the first 60 days, I had to go out and define our developer personas. That was an interesting ride. Collaboration is key. I walked in to an engineering department as a marketing person on the 2nd floor, and on the 3rd floor was marketing. Yeah. Why, as a marketing person working with the engineering team, we can do that. So collaborating with the marketing teams, collaborating with the product and sales teams and our channel teams is key and has been key all along. Then a growing awareness and engagement organically. And I'm talking about everything, content, social, you name it. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about how I carry a tin cup and go to all the product areas and help borrow and beg for money to put towards our developer portal and some of our tools, understanding the importance. That has quickly evolved now, and we have the attention of the organization for several reasons. And one of the other things that I want you to walk away with is making use of use cases. Incredibly important. What have you built as a company with developers and let's say your ISVs or your independent software vendors and their development teams that you can talk about, that you can teach, that you can tell your developer community about? These have been one of the key components of our content that we're driving to our developer community. So there I was in the hot seat, first 30 days, right? We all like the Kubernetes dude. And this is fine, I can handle this, not a problem. So I quickly learned of where all our content was. And it was sort of this octopus of information. We had our tech docs that were being managed somewhere out in New York. Technical documentation, white papers that held a lot of good, interesting, rich technical content, right? Then we've got our blogs. So we have a dev advocate team. We have the 3 engineers that are working with me directly, but they're mainly print engineers. Then we have our enterprise mobile side of our business. So we have engineers there that are developer advocates, but that's only 10 to 20% of the time of their job. And their job really is on their product, right? So it was a little bit different in terms of how you were managing that content and where we were getting it from. So I had to kind of take that all together and put it in hand and then decide, how is it going to be editor-in-chief for this? How were we going to reflect the right voice in our community? So during the first 30 days, it became quickly clear that we could work on so much more, which is why I offered, let's create a developer strategy. Hence, I'm a developer marketer. So I'm sitting in the sea of engineers, and I was challenged with understanding what the developer community needed to be doing. And so what I did is I also took the time to evaluate their current toolbox. There were some things that were working that they were doing as a small team, right? They had a developer portal. It was good information. It wasn't beautiful. It didn't have to be. Is it getting the developer the information, the technical content that they need? Yes. Are we answering their questions in the forums? Yes. Do we have people that are experts that are helping? Yes, we do. Our developer events. Well, we have a couple of things that we can put under that, and one of them is our dev talks. So when I walked in, they had these monthly webinars, these dev talks on certain pieces of information for the developer community. And we brought in our product experts and then some of our own internal engineers in our team and our extended dev advocate team were conducting these 1-hour webinars. We had about maybe 50 to 150 people sign up, and about half of that would come to the developer talk, and then they'd watch it on our YouTube playlist. Our mailing list at that time on MailChimp was about 2,000 people. Within 2 years, I had it up to 5,000. Today, I have it up to 21,000. There's a way to do it. Dev docs are tech docs, right? We know these are important pieces of information. They told us back then, they're telling us now, they still want this information. Guess what? It's still a separate site. It's still handled out in Holtzville, New York, and I got another team managing it. Good information, but it's disjointed, and I'll tell you about the developer experience in a minute on how that is. Then we have our developer kitchens. These are kind of like what we think of in terms of like meetups, workshops, kind of mini hacks, but for Zebra, it's unique in that we work really closely with our ISV teams, our independent software vendors, and our actual internal teams, and then they go out and find the developer teams to bring in. So we might have new technology or something that we want to teach them on how they can build on our mobile devices, like using our enterprise browser, which is one of our trademarks. We'll bring in about 20 to 30 people. Give them beer, give them pizza, give them swag. All right, let's go develop. And then we create these use cases. So we had a social presence. Okay, Twitter and LinkedIn. It was working. It wasn't great. You know, and the corporate social gods are saying, we want to know your engagement metrics, your click-through rate. Okay, it's about quality, not quantity. That's what I started professing in 2018 with them. We had a Zebra developer community group that was our community group on the side that worked very well. We've had that up until last month, and I've converted it to now a company page, a public page, where we're now sharing information and we're cross-promoting. We weren't doing that before. The thing about the social, though, this is what really drove me crazy, is that social lived on the social team. So if I wanted to put out a tweet, I had to put together the content, have that team edit it, put it together, go through it, get the stakeholder sign off. 2 weeks later, I got a tweet. What? Right? So the coolest thing about being on that team is that I learned a ton from these engineers, even development. So they would teach me, and I would forget. So I was known as the sticky note woman. So I had these 2 big monitors and color-coded sticky notes. I knew exactly what every single one of them meant, and so did the engineering team that I was working with. It's about teaching me and I remember it, absolutely. Involve me and I learn. These are things that we have to remember when we're talking to our developer community. It's how they interact with us. So, defining the personas, I had to look at the developer ecosystem. Who are the developers? We know we need to cultivate and nurture the developer ecosystem. It can absolutely help your company accelerate in terms of innovation, developing new features and offerings, much more than maybe companies that do not cultivate these ecosystems. It's so important. And we had a DevRel lead that truly believed that. And I thought it was a great, great way and a great philosophy, and I wanted to follow that. But we have to try and balance the short and sweet of the technical content, but give it depth. So that needs to be there too. So we looked at the demographics. We could run heat maps on our developer portal, and then we had reports that we could run off Google Analytics. We could look at all of that. We could find out where they reside within our company personas. So are they in our partners, our ISVs, our customers, or are they independents? Then what do they value most? We started asking them. Right, in the forums, quick little surveys, pop-ups. What do you value most? We got data, we got information from them, they're vocal. Where do they find answers to their questions? Well, our forums are incredibly active. And we have these 12 dev advocates that are constantly answering any type of questions. Now we have product teams on there looking at it, reviewing it, and saying, we gotta make a change to this. We gotta revise our roadmap, right? And so now we have the product engineers participating in some of our developer talks. I'll get into that in a minute. And do they know who you are? Okay, so now this became brand. So I would talk to the developers in the community when we'd go out to events and stuff, and I'd say, do you know how to get to us? This is our developer portal. Well, aren't you Zebra Technologies, zebra.com, but then I don't know where to go for your developer portal. Why? Because it's right down at the bottom of the page. Still there today, but we're making some changes. So we really didn't have a brand, and they really didn't know who Zebra Technologies was, and a lot of people said, oh, you're that printer scanner company, not understanding that we had all these developer tools and developer opportunities. So we had to change that. So let's define the personas. Within that first 50 days, I had to sit down and think about who are these personas? Where do they reside? Where do they live? Let's talk about them on a global basis. So I created this chart, this graph that we used for our biannual event called AppForum. And developers were sitting within our partners, our ISVs, our customers. They were independents. And yes, there are internal developers at Zebra. They're developing applications for an airline that they're going to print off, that they're going to scan when you check in. They're working internally. We need to recognize that because so often they wanted to separate it. You can't tell the Zebra folks. Well, why not? We have internal developers. We are an inclusive community. It has taken some time for everyone to understand that we're a global, inclusive community. Everyone is welcome. And then we had our business innovators. This was important to a lot of our thought leaders to have these, but it is true because some of our ISV leads were actually former developers and they wanted to get information from us too. So I did what I had to do in terms of refining these personas, getting them out and saying, now we need to go out and talk to the developer community if we're going to expand this and expand our offerings, right? So, we can look at the developer funnel. I'm just going to go over this very quickly because we're condensing this marketing funnel a little bit for developers, right? Starting at the top of the funnel, we're looking at that lead generation. It can start there. You target your audience, do all that. Brand awareness we knew was an issue. But we did have the developers looking at our content, considering it, and comparing it to our competitors, because they would tell us. And then they'd evaluate it, and then they'd engage. Those metrics, forums, downloading our SDKs, API calls. They're doing all of it. To what extent? We had to go back and look at that. And are they retaining it, and are they building it, and do we have use cases? Yes. So I became this person known in the marketing organization as the why lady. Charlie Brown sitting there up at the ceiling going, why are we doing this? Why does it take 2 weeks for us to get a social tweet out? Why are we waiting so long to talk to our product people? Shouldn't our product people be involved with all of this from the beginning, right? So I had to ask a lot of different questions, and we didn't have a lot of budget, so I had to think very creatively out of the box. So then, as a result of this, in terms of listening and learning, we needed to make some changes. So our app forums were conducted in 3 regions when we were in person back in 2019, 2018. We had an APAC, NALA, and EMEA. And in NALA, I had an opportunity to bring in a lot of those personas, that ISV lead who was a former developer, customer developers, other outside independent developers that I had met through some of my networking. And I had an opportunity to bring them in and what we call it the Dev Council, which we put on Slack, thank you very much. And we've had an opportunity to talk to them as well. Haven't kept up with it the way that we should have. We've gone through some transition because at that time we also moved our entire DevRel team, all 5 of us, over to marketing. So now marketing is involved. But I said, you know what, I've learned from this Dev Council, they want a DevBuzz newsletter. They're not paying attention to the partner newsletter. They don't know where to get the information. That's all sales and partner. ISV is all ISV. We want technical information, we want developer information, and we want it from our sources that we know, the experts that are on the portal. So we created the developer newsletter. We started in NALA. We're out there today. We have we're still using that 21,000 recipient list. And we have metrics all above industry standards. So they wanted it. Then we had social management. Take it back. I got it back. I'm going to wear 12 different hats, but I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to manage the social. I'm going to get it out on a timely basis. Created our own developer brand. Went through a whole process of creating a developer brand. We use it today. You see it up there. It's working. People like it. We got really cool swag. And then we wanted to create a better developer experience, right? That's the feedback that we were hearing. So knowing that, and at that point, we were going to roll out some of our software offerings and our data analytics platform, and we were merging all of this information with the developer portal, and we had to work together because they were going to have APIs that they were going to get for free, and also you had to pay for. Okay, so a group that we work with called WIB had gone in and originally established our DevRel team way back in 2015, before me, and we asked her to come back in with her team and reevaluate and go out and talk. So this was their process, but I used it for everything. We used it for the developer portal, we used it for developer marketing. It's about discovering, evaluating, learning, building, and engaging and committing, right? So we're gonna go through these phases. And when you look at it from a developer portal perspective, she was basically putting it up there and finding out their pain points. Did you find the technical content that you needed? Were you able to find your way on the landing page? How did you get there? From zebra.com? Tell us your route. So we were following the developer journey. So we got feedback. She went to some of our partners, some of our ISVs, some of our customers, and independents. So we were getting very good data that was going to tell us how we had to reevaluate and do our developer experience. That constituted a change. So quickly, collaboration is key. So leveraging those internal teams became so important because I had to also take that developer experience and share that data with them to say, we need to change this. We need to change the organization, and everybody outside looks at the Zebra developer community. And we need to engage more with them. And we need to understand our advocates. We had such a wealth of information internally at Zebra. These people are brilliant. They are going out and they are talking at events, talking at DroidCons, talking at Android workshops, because we're basically an Android-based company. And they're sharing all this information, this content, and we're watching. They have followings, right? Let's elevate them. As we're talking about today, we keep talking about champions. There are champions. So let's promote them. We knew that developers had also shared in their experience that they want authentic information, especially for Zebra developers. They want depth, they want code examples. We're giving it to them. Use cases, shared experiences. We started communicating with a lot of the ISVs and doing a lot of developer talks, like dev talks, on what we're doing with them, how we're creating new opportunities for developers, and then we're giving them complete information on how you can do it yourself. So RFID is a really hot topic right now for us, right? And we kind of knew that. We talked to a couple of our product engineers, and we said, let's go out and do what we call a Dev Talk Community Day, a shortened version of a Dev Talk, or an extended version of a Dev Talk Day. So it's basically 4 or 5 talks in RFID, just to kind of give you an idea. Our registrations for the past couple of years on a lot of our developer talks have been about 200-300, right? Maybe 400 if they're interesting. That's great numbers. We look at the conversion rate, so we look at the attendance rate, right? So we're looking at who's coming to the actual event, and then we're watching the watch metrics on YouTube. We're seeing over 52% are attending. So they're absorbing the information, and they're on there 90% of the time listening. So I'm recognizing that I have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to quickly go through this. But we went from 200 to 300, and last week we did the RFID day. We had 955 people register. We had over 53% of those people attend, and we have our watch metrics that have kind of escalated. So now we're getting the attention of a lot of people at Zebra. You know, remember with social, you need to set the stage. It can play a part, but it's not going to be the lead. So we're very fortunate that we have a really great new social media manager who gets this. And the words she left me with that I always profess are, it's about quantity, not quality. Are they finding the information? Are they registering for your events? Are they attending? These are the type of metrics and journeys that we need to follow. It can play the part, so it's not the lead. It can deliver the right performance for you and give you the right content. We're pushing out, my partner in crime, Priyanka, is here today. She's a whiz at video teasers. So we're pushing out a lot of content now through video as opposed to blogs, because we're seeing the metrics go down on the blogs. People don't have the time. We're going to elevate our podcasts. We're rebranding them, revamping them. We're going to put those out. They're going to be more vlogs. We're prepping that right now for some good use cases. But the important thing that I want to leave you with today, it's also about measurement. You have to constantly be measuring this to see how you're progressing. And I've been able to do this over a 7-year period. I've been very blessed that I've been able to be here to be able to see its success. So what are the tools in the developer marketing toolbox? Let me show them to you. Here's what we have today. We have our developer portal and our blogs on that portal. We're still getting contributions from our product engineers, our dev advocates. There's a lot of people that want to write blogs for our developer portal. We're also revamping that entire developer experience based on data from 3 years ago. I'm finally getting to do it today, and guess what? TechDocs is going to be part of that. I'm really excited. So we have our dev talks, which are absolutely by far the most important thing that we do, and it's the best way to reach our community. We have our dev kitchens, kind of those meetups. We're doing more of those this year. Our YouTube channel has elevated in terms of watch metrics. People want the information. They want to keep watching it. We're revamping our podcasts. Our events. We rebranded our event to DevCon, made it developer-specific content. And in years past, we had 600 people attending. Now, that was attending personally. And then, of course, we had to pivot because of the pandemic last year. But we expected maybe 500 people to register. I had 1,600 plus people register. Over 65% of those people attended. We have social. We're revamping that. We're putting out that public page now. We have our newsletters. Our DevBuzz newsletter is still popular, and we're putting technical specific content in a technical specific space on the partners newsletters. Tech Docs is going to be revamped. What I want to leave you with today, it can work. Every community is different, right? Some of these tools may apply to you, some of them won't. I'm happy to share and help anybody out there, so please know that. And I think our Developer Marketing Alliance Slack board's really great for that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate, kind of that love and that sharing part of our community here. And so I'm happy to give back on anything here and how I can help you. I've gone out and I've helped startups, consulted outside for them. I've consulted with a couple of other companies. I've learned how to network with my peers and peer-like companies to see what they're doing and if it's working. Cisco, I listened to you today. So I'm listening and I'm learning. And now we're going to revisit our personas, because guess what? It's changing again. I've got the actor that's the developer. The marketing person, developing, low code, no code. We're working with all those ISVs right now. We're going to revisit that developer experience. We're rolling out a new developer portal in the coming months. Then we're going to put in Tech Docs. And we're going to reevaluate it again. We're going to put it out there. We're going to get those metrics, make sure we're giving the community what they want. And then those use content and use cases that are specific to our community are going to be important. The podcast, we're going to elevate up to like a low-code, no-code series. So we're actually talking to ISVs right now and developer communities or developer groups within those low-code, no-code software vendors and talking to them about doing kind of a series on how to code and that low-code, no-code environment and how to get into it. And then always measure, measure, measure. Because marketing people love metrics, and your executive team loves metrics, and your C-suite loves metrics, and we're going to show them the metrics, right? I'm showing it to them, and we've got the attention of them. We're in the software space now, and now we have to figure out how to bring it all together. So that's the next challenge. That is it. I made it. Connect with me anytime. Hopefully enough time for a few questions.
I think we have time for 2 questions.
Okay, and then I can answer whatever afterwards.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Absolutely. You're not running away after this.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So do we have any questions from the audience?
Yes.
Okay, and let's, to make sure we pick it up on the camera, if we can have the mic. We have a question over here first. Oh.
Or it is hot in here, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no.
Hot up in the lights, as always, as the actor says.
You mentioned.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. It's not? Okay. You mentioned moving away from blogs to more video. That's how I usually go there. We'll just say more video in general. And I'm trying not to put too much of my own desirability bias into this question, but my question for you is, on the blogs specifically, what about engagement or viewership or reading on blogs made you start to think we really should probably pivot over, or say pivot because it's not binary, but start to move to more video-based content? What was it about what you were seeing with engagement on the blogs?
They're too long. I don't have time.
To write them or for to read them?
To read them.
Okay.
To read them. I mean, there's always going to be blogs out there with code content. They want code samples, right? I'm not shying away from any of that. And I'm saying with the greatest love of my developer community, they're very long-winded, like me. This is what we share. And so we have to make sure that we condense those, and then we take it a step further. So it might start out as a blog and an idea and talking about some type of technology that they can use, but then let's take it to a vlog, let's take it to a video, let's take it to a live stream, let's take it to a dev talk, because that's where we're going to get the participation. So they'll go back to that blog. It's just right now, when we started out, that's all we were doing was blog, 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 blog. And it's great if it's got the right information and it's short and sweet.
So it could almost act as like a seed.
Yeah, it's the pod, yes. The pod that will grow.
Any other questions?
Really? Nothing else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, wait for the microphone, please. Thank you.
The for the dev docs,
Yes.
so you guys like know, this is the developer led, right? Is it
Yes.
developers do the talk, right? They lead the post and everything. Is it done internally or externally?
Both. Yeah, once again, our developer community, we don't exclude. So they're all public sharing platforms. We use GoToWebinar, no ad for them. But what we're able to do with GoToWebinar is we're able to follow metrics like very closely, like where they're registering from, the portal, the partner portal, social. And then we share that information with everyone. They are developer led, but we have product engineers and sales engineers that have a developer background that come out and talk about it. And when I say sales engineers, I mean, they're selling an API or telling you about an SDK update or something like that, but they're not selling you a widget. You know what I'm saying? They're selling you an experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think with that, unfortunately, we have to wrap it. This was a fantastic, no, it was really fantastic.